Welcome back, guys. Let's continue with our project with mining baby names. Let's take a look at popular names for 2008. So I'm going to create a pop 2008 data frame, which is going to be a subset of all years indexed. We're going to locate I want popular boy names for this one. We're going to locate all the boys and take a look at this. You do all the boys, comma, colon, comma, 2008 to indicate that we want all the boys, everything else in between for the year 2008. We're going to call the sort values method of a data frame, and we're going to sort this by number, which is one of our headings, as you recall. And the sort itself, we're going to say ascending equals false. Do a shift enter to create the data frame. Let's take a look at pop 2008.head. And you can see that we got, because we said ascending false, the largest numbers show up on top because we're sorting by number. We got all the names and the numbers. So based on this, at least for 2008, I can see that I hit on one of the names, Michael, but the rest of my names that I thought were popular, well, they didn't make it at least to the top 5, maybe the top 10. Let's go ahead and reset the default index for ourselves. And to do that, I'm going to take pop 2008, because currently it's indexed the same way as all years indexed. I'm going to call reset index, which is a method. And then I'm going to take a look at the first 10. So this one looks a little bit nicer now. I do have the names with the indices, although it starts at 0, of course, but I see that I still have the one name that I picked, which was Michael, being in the top 10, but nothing else. Let me go ahead and take a look at creating this index, but what I want to do is I want to drop the number because I just want to get the popular names. So I'm going to drop the unnecessary columns here. So let's go take a look at pop 2008. And remember, this is not modifying the pop 2008 data frame because I'm not assigning it to anything. So I'm going to call reset index. So that resets the index. Then I'm going to call the drop method. Very important to see how this one works. I'm going to drop sex, year, and number. I don't need them. And then you say axis equals 1, which means that you're doing this against the column as opposed to the row. So these are all columns that we're dropping, not rows. Think of the 1 as like a column of a building, and hopefully it helps you remember what that means. If I do this one, you can see that it comes back. Well, it's not coming back. Not quite sure what I did wrong here to, oh, I see why. Okay. I see why. Because when I did this up here, I went through and, okay, I see why. I don't have any gender column, anything right here, so let me go ahead and remove those. I do want to drop the number column. Okay, there we go. Here we are. All right. Oh, I misspelled. I did this. I did a tab, and apparently it did that. There you go. So I got just a list of all the top names at this point. That was my goal. I wanted to get the top names for my for 2008, and I've gotten the top names, as you can see. Okay, pretty cool. I could go ahead and create another one for another year if I wanted to. But let's not go ahead and do that. Let's create a function for it so we can always call it. So I'm going to create a function to return, let's say, the top names for any year based on gender. So def top names, good name for it. I'm going to pass to it the sex, the year, and a total, which we're going to give it a default value of 10. So if they don't specify a total, we'll return the top 10. If they do specify something larger like 20 or something less like 5, it's going to return those values, of course. Now that we know how to do it for one particular year, we can pretty much create the necessary thing for this one. So this is going to be the same thing that I did up here. In fact, I'll copy and paste it. Except I have to make a small modification to it clearly. So I'm not doing just M. I'm just going to specify sex. And I'm not doing 2008. I'm doing the year, the parameters that are being passed right here. So we take care of that, and we're still sorting by number, ascending false, which is cool. We're going to let top list be equal to top list dot reset index. Okay, I'm going to take top list and set it equal to top list dot drop the additional columns that I don't need, and set the axis equals 1, and I'm going to get the head total. We did head 10, etc. We say total. I'm going to let top list dot columns be equal to the year. And what this does, so far we've been putting the name up here, but we're going to put the year up there, which is a little bit nicer. Also, because this is doing 0 through 9 or whatever, I'm going to let top list dot index be starting at 1. So I'm going to add 1 to it, and I'm going to return the data frame. So return top list. Let's go ahead and, okay, I put a plus sign here somewhere. And line 43. By the way, remember you can always click here and press the L key to get your line numbers, but I'm not sure where I have this plus sign. Top names. Oh, I put top plus right here. There you go. Alright, so I have my function. Let's actually check it out and see if it works properly. So I'm going to pass to a top names, or call it all boys for 2008, and I want to get the first 5. Let's see if it works for 2008, because we know that it was working before. As before, I apologize, I put these back in there again. The only thing I have here to worry about is number. So let's go ahead and recreate the function and then do it again. And there we have it. Yes, it's working great. Let's take a look at top names for all the boys in 1970. So because I did not specify the third parameter, it is showing me the top 10, and you notice the index starts at 1, which is very cool. So I'm looking at this, I see I have Michael and David. I don't see the others that I put in there, like Joseph is not there, which is fine. Let's take a look at the top names for girls in 1970. And we see the top girls for girls were starting with Jennifer, Lisa, Kimberly, Michelle, etc. Very cool. So this is working. This is very nice. I'm going to create, oops, I hate these notifications that Windows has. They think they're doing us a favor. They're not. I'm going to use a comprehension, a list comprehension, to create the top names for all boys for a particular year, and I'm going to have a loop here for year in range 2010 to 2014. Remember, 2014 itself is not included. So this is going to create a list comprehension for us. We can take a look at it. Let's take a look at years. You can see it has 2010 with all the top names, the top 10, then 2011, then I have 2012, etc. Very cool. So we have that. Let's take the years, sub-zero. First, let's take a look at it. So that's 2010. Easy enough. As you might expect, 2011 would be 1. So I'm going to take years 0 and I'm going to join it using the join method for a list to years 1 colon. And this is going to look very cool. Take a look. So it's going to take our data frame, using join method, join it to the other data frames, as you can see, and this is going to give us a very nice tabular format for the names from 2010 to 2013, and which were the top names, the top 10 names at least in this case. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and create, now we know how to do this, create a function that gives, let's say returns, the top names over a range of years. When I teach this to my graduate students, I tell them, experiment with the things, and then you can create a function so you don't have to keep writing it over and over. So top names range, good name for it. Let's go ahead, we pass to it sex, year start, year end, and pretty much the code that we did. In fact, I'm going to copy and paste this list comprehension right here. Copy and paste it. Here we go. The only thing we have to make some changes here as before, so I'm going to pass to this the sex that's being passed. We have the year. This is going to be top name, sex, year for year in year start. Whoops. To year end, and I'm going to add one so the year end itself is included. Very cool. And I'm going to return precisely what I had over here. So I'm going to take years sub 0, call join, and I'm going to give it years sub 1 colon, so all the other years. So we have our function created. Let's check it out. Let's do it for girls. Top names range for girls from 1960, let's say, to 1967. Psychedelic years. Here we go. It's returning it for us. It's beautiful. We can do this. So I think I'll stop the video right here. We have obviously more to do, which we will do. But I think this is sufficient to get you busy and for you to play with. Hopefully you're enjoying these. If you are, please share with loved ones and friends. As always, thank you for being a great audience, and see you in the next video.